This week, I didn't really explain what books or movies or whatever I would be doing, and it's all going to be the same series. I'm concentrating it to what I actually can get done, or hopefully can get done. I love fantasy. From my understanding, for the last couple of years, I think they've been trying to get a TV show started with it. I don't know. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Because of course it is. I actually listened to them. I'm almost all the way through the series. I am like 3/4 of the way through of the most recent book, which is A Court of Silver Flame. That doesn't matter right now. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite characters in this book. And it's probably not who you want it to be, but I have decided to limit myself to roughly one character per book. My favorite character in the first installment was Lucien. I know I'm probably gonna get heat for that, but yeah, my favorite character in this book was Lucien. My first thought was, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and do the costume, the outfit that he was introduced in. I went into the book and I looked for his introduction, which I am not considering this a spoiler because this happens in chapter 5. So I'm not going to read all of the context because they're interesting books, and if you want to read it, you can. You definitely should. If you want to, go for it. Live your life. He just kind of walks into the room in the middle of a conversation. He just starts talking to one of the characters. He doesn't realize that there's another character right here. He just starts talking to one of them. And he said, and his description is, another high fae, red-haired and finely dressed in a tunic of muted silver. He too wore a mask. That wasn't what I remember it being. I think I had kind of conflated the fact that he was a high elf from the Autumn Court, and like his red hair, I kind of conflated that with enough of those autumny colors, like the burgundy, mustard yellow, rust orange, hunter green colors that kind of weave all together into the autumn aesthetic that I was anticipating doing, and I was a fool. That's what was going on in my head, because I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way that it doesn't say it in here somewhere. It doesn't. I'm kind of upset. I know it's not a picture book, and you know you're supposed to use your imagination, and I do. Believe me, I do. However, I'm kind of annoyed with how few descriptions we get. We get physical descriptions. You get descriptions of the person's face and of the person's hair, but you don't very often get a description of what they're wearing unless it's like shocking. Silence fell over the entire court because, oh my god, no one had seen her in a ball gown. You know, that kind of thing. I know it's not a visual medium, but what are you gonna do? So my next option was I was going to do a look of his from Under the Mountain. Again, if you know, you know. Red hair glinted, and I jolted a step as they yanked Lucien forward. Oh, I guess that helps. By the color of his green tunic. So that's not very helpful. I'm just going to do an amalgamation of things. I'm kind of going to go with what I have in my head initially. This is kind of what I was going off of, like the initial thought of my idea, but in like the greens, like all of the fan art that I had been seeing. But no, apparently in this picture he's supposed to be wearing silver, muted silver, which, no. First, thought was to go online and start looking at patterns, look at exactly what it is I need to do when someone describes a doublet versus a tunic versus a gambeson versus a jerkin. And I feel like I am not prepared to answer what any of those mean. I went ahead and I bought this pattern. What I think I am going to be doing is I'm going to be working on kind of more stripped down look. I'm going to go ahead and do a gambeson. I will be doing the gambeson, like I said. I will be doing the shirt underneath, wearing either white or off-white for his shirting. Go to the 18th century pirate shirt. Oh, when I was thinking about doing this costume initially, I was actually considering doing this one specifically for Comic-Con. I talked to a co-worker who had a second job working at an optometrist, so I was talking to her about different colored contacts and stuff, and I had said something to her about, ooh, do they do those? Do they do like the sclera contacts, do the whole eye? Do they make those in other colors? Like if I wanted to get like a gold one, could I do that? And she's like, I mean, there's probably somewhere online that does it. But the thing about that, and then she went into the different things about colors. I think I've decided against that as of now. But yeah, we're gonna start with this guy, and we'll go from there, I guess. I'm getting kind of annoyed at myself because I'm working on this project. I'm working on this outfit. I've been kind of excited to do this for a while. Oh, before I go any further, I had initially said that I wanted to do this for Comic-Con at the end of June 2023. That was incorrect. I had wanted to do this specifically for Renaissance Festival, and I got part of it done, so I was gonna wear part of it, and then it ended up being like 100 degrees. I think at one point I pulled my phone out of my pocket and it was 111, and that's too hot. I ended up not wearing it, which was good because it wasn't finished. I'm trying to make it more autumn court, which should be great because every time that I think about doing this, I'm like, yes, because it's gonna be like fall and autumn kind of just encapsulated. But then keep thinking about how that doesn't really make any sense. This is where we're gonna get into the spoiler alert. Just spoiler territory, I suppose. So I'm annoyed because I want to do I want to do everything like fall related with this, and I'm like, oh, this would be great, it's gonna be awesome, it's gonna be great, and I love it. And then I look at the options that I have for fabrics and the clothing ideas that I've seen both in my pattern stash, the words that I have to be able to look up certain things, and then also the time frame I'm working with. Like, all of that is in addition to, he doesn't no longer lives in the autumn court. He hasn't the whole time. Since the start of the series, he has not been a part of the autumn court. I am upset Tamlin is described in more detail than Lucien. It's very aggravating to me. See, I love the description of his room. The room was similar to mine in shape, but was bedecked in hues of orange and red and gold, with faint traces of green and brown, like being in an autumn wood. But while my room was all softness and grace, his was marked with ruggedness. In lieu of a pretty breakfast table by the window, a worn work table dominated the space, covered in various weapons. It was there he sat, wearing only a white shirt and trousers, his red hair unbound and gleaming like liquid fire, but a warrior in his own right. That tells me that that's what he's used to surrounding himself with, but he doesn't really want to. I don't know, man. This is so frustrating. I think for this first one, I'm going to do something relatively simple. I have a pair of linen trousers that are they're like beige. They're an off-white color. Dyeing them, or maybe I could take them apart and take a pattern from them. I am not 100% sure how I'm going to reveal this. I do want to do something fall related. So I tried this a couple different ways to see which way I preferred it, and I don't like how visible the thread is on this one, so I've decided I'm gonna go with this. Now I just have 10 more to go. pictured wasn't as, I guess, fall-like as I was thinking it would be. So green. Everything was just so green still. Outfit, it's not quite as hot and uncomfortable as it could be because it's not like 111 degrees. It's a bit overcast. I do like the fact that it's so lightweight, but it's also long sleeve. One thing that they did have apple cider donuts, which is great because I've been looking for them for everywhere. It has a bit of a, honestly, I can't really tell the difference. Is it? No, it's not even that it's sour. It doesn't taste like apple at all. I don't know. My pick for where I was gonna do the reveal outside, I didn't really have anyone to go with me, and I am super self-conscious about filming in public. I like it. I think it's very comfortable. The only thing I don't like about the gambeson, the biggest issue that I have with it are the clasps, because I did not know before I bought these and I was starting to put it together that they're, I don't know, this seems very odd to me that it goes under like this as opposed to what I would think is normal where it goes over. There is also a little bit of a gap, or I could go ahead and get some scrap fabric that I have left over for this and do a placket. Yeah, this was number one. This was Lucien. He's full of costumes in this fantasy setting. From the descriptions and stuff, I have kind of subconsciously, it's kind of getting harder. I have most of the materials, I have most of the descriptions in my head, but I kind of looked at what I have kind of laid out, and next week is going to be ACOTAR. It's going to be the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm going to be using, I'm going to make it slightly more complicated. So one thing that made this a little bit different than other ones that I've done before, particularly with the shirt, because I've done the shirt many times, did the drawing of the threads, so it is actually a big old rectangle piece, which is pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you stick with me. You guys have a great day. Until next week, bye.